that metal interview.
You know who he is exactly. Once you hear his name, you know who he plays with and who he has played with. And we are talking about Blasko. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about Blasko, the one and only bassist for the Ozzy Osbourne band, formerly with Rob Zombie, Danzig, and going back in time to his early years, as he talks about it a bit, Crypticslaughter. For those of you that know his history, we are talking about Blasko here, and we touched the subject on the Thedeathriders. And also he speaks to us about how he acquired and how he, I guess how he got his name, Blasko, when that is not his real name. But that is the rock star name that most of us have, most of the rocker stars have. His name being, of course, Rob Nicholson, of course. But we all know him as Blasko. Thank you for tuning in to that metal interview podcast. Thank you for tuning in to JRocksMetalZone.com 24/7 rock metal. Thank you for keeping it metal. Thank you for subscribing to our YouTube page. Thank you for searching our podcast, that metal interview podcast, on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and so on. I will stop talking and I will let you guys and girls listen to our conversation with Mr. Rob Nicholson, aka Blasko. Enjoy. First off, how did you get the name Blasko, for those that don't know?
Yeah, well, I mean, shoot, how can I spice up that story?
Right.
It's pretty basic, really. I mean, my name is Rob, so when I joined Rob Zombie's band, there, wasn't enough room for two Robs in Rob Zombie's band, so
gotcha.
We all got spacey with our stage names.
I understand you have a management company. Can you talk about that? Which bands do you manage? I saw you manage for sure Black Veil Brides.
Yep. Yeah, I started managing a while ago, 15 years ago or so, and yeah, I mean, I love music. I love being in music, and you can't always be on stage, so I wanted to immerse myself in the business side of it, and so I started managing bands a while back, and I still do that. And I love doing it. I love helping bands build their careers, and it helps me stay connected and aware of what's going on around me, and it's great. It's a good extension of being a musician, right? You get to have both sides of the business, which is to me it's exciting.
That's great that you want to help out other bands. That's cool.
Yeah.
Now you played with Crypticslaughter early on. Would you call that the beginning of your career, or the learning process, if you will, or was there something before that?
It was the beginning of my career, for sure. It wasn't the beginning of me being a musician. I was in bands before that, but in terms of career association, that was the first band I was in that got a record deal and put out records and did all that. So, professionally, yes, that was, as unprofessional as we were, but we were a professional band, but we were really young. We were in high school. The majority of us were in high school while we were in that band. So, but yes, you are correct with the pointing out that was the beginning of my career.
I heard you say, I saw an interview where you said you are 51% Sabbath and 49% Motorhead. Does that mean is that as a fan, or is that as a musical influence, or?
Yeah, that's my musical DNA.
Right.
So me as as a fan and as a musician, my DNA is made up of 51% Black Sabbath and 49% Motorhead.
Now, after being a Sabbath fanatic, were you a bit starstruck when you joined Ozzy, or?
I still am.
That's awesome! Wow, I would have melted if I would have met Ozzy. I would have just melted.
No doubt, no doubt.
You joined Ozzy in 03, and I read Ozzy canceled some shows after a bad ATV accident, and then he took off on a Sabbath tour. So when was your first show with Ozzy? How long did you wait?
Here to perform.
Yeah, it was more like around 2005, 2006.
Okay.
I started, doing gigs because he got in that accident, and then he did Sabbath for a couple of years, I think. Actually, it was 2004, 2005, and then at the end of an Ozfest where Sabbath was playing in 2005, that's whenever we went and did our first gig. And it was like, when I say gig, it was like one show at the opening of a football game where we played in a football helmet, and it was like one song, but still, it was me and Zach Wilde and Mike Borden. That was the band that played the one song, but yet that was where it began.
This is a question, I guess a musician question. Is Ozzy a part of the songwriting process, or does he just come in and throw some lyrics in? Did you and Zach do the music, or how does that work?
I only played on 2 albums.
Yeah.
Zach played on countless albums.
Right.
And he had a lot to do with the writing, No More Tears and No Rest for the Wicked. Those were Zach wrote a lot on those. And so I can't really speak for Ozzy's participation in any of those records. The records that I worked on, Zach worked on one, he didn't work on the other. But the producers involved, Ozzy's involved. Ozzy definitely has a say in the end result. And he I don't know what he does, to be honest, because it's like I go in and I do my parts and then I fuck off, right? So Ozzy's contribution, it's his name on the album, so he clearly has a very poignant point of view as to what the end result is. But he is open to outside writers and outside contributions, as he always has, right? I don't know. From my own perspective, I can't really say specifically, other than, if you look at the history of it, he's been open to collaboration, and he certainly writes, as well. And he's very, very visionary in terms of the end results.
How is it working with Sharon? She's controversial herself.
I suppose so. Never to me. She's always been great to me and any of the band guys that I've been in the band with. She's very generous and very cool, and controversial, maybe, but not to me or the band guys in any way.
I read about the Thedeathriders. Are you still a part of that, or that's just part of the past, or is that active?
It's not active. It was. That's cool that you bring that up. That was a really fun project. It was me and a few friends, and it was a studio project, really. Like we had these ideas, and we just wanted to put it together and just kind of do this little one-off thing. Eventually, one of these days, one of us will put it up on Spotify and, share it, let people know that it exists. But for now, it's a pretty, deep underground album.
Oh wow!
But it was really fun. It was a really fun project. I still stand by that as being a really cool album.
Nice. How did the Black Sabbath idea start? Whose idea was that? And how was the fan reaction? I saw you guys toured everywhere.
we've been a lot of places. It just kind of happened organically. Zach and I were on this tour called Metal All Stars, and it was like there was like a bunch of people like Joey Belladonna and Max Cavalera, and a bunch of guys were on this tour. And sort of the premise is there was a backing band, and then these guys, different guys, singer guys, Udo Dirkschneider and Joey and Zach and Max and stuff. We would come out at separate times, and then we would play like 3 or 4 songs of our choosing that were either covers or hits from their own catalog. And so Zach and I were doing a lot of Sabbath stuff, and so it was kind of a joke of like, I'm like, man, we could actually this could actually be a thing. Right? And I go, we could call it Zach Sabbath, and we just laughed. And then when we got home, we booked some gigs. People loved it, and so we've just been doing it ever since. And we got back from, we went to some places in Europe, and we played the UK. We did that in February, and we'd never been over in any of those territories before. And that was real exciting. Most of the shows were sold out, and the crowd was really responsive. And it's been a fun little side project, for us to do. And so, yeah, we're going to keep doing it until no one wants to hear that stuff anymore.
Wow, I saw that. I didn't see it live, but I saw it on online, YouTube. And, man, you guys sound just like Sabbath. I mean, even Zach, his voice, the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the intent is that, obviously we're not a tribute band per se. We're a cover band.
Yeah.
In that we're not dressing up or trying to relive that era per se, but we're certainly very critical of how we present the material, and we've done our homework, and but we want to add our own little flavor to it, but we want people to enjoy the time, and we want people, we just want people to have fun. The whole intent of it is for people to have a good night out. That's kind of really the whole idea.
Here's another musician question. Rob Zombie's music has an industrial feel to it, rock industrial. How was that recording process like, and who writes the riffs and all that? It's just a different approach, huh?
Yeah, I mean, that's all him, man. Like, I mean, that's his vision. Like, it started in White Zombie and morphed into Rob Zombie, but he carried that over with him. That's his thing for sure. So
for sure,
in that regard, man, like I was just along for the ride and happy to be there.
Awesome. Well, you did a good job on there. Real good. Good
Thanks.
After all this virus thing is over, what's the future of Blasko on your personal projects and with Ozzy, of course? What's the future? What can fans expect from you?
And I wish I knew. I mean, at this point, things are a little grim.
Yeah.
And we're not really sure when we're going to get out of it. When we do, we're not really sure what that's going to look like. Yeah. We're keeping a positive attitude, and we're hoping all for the best, and we're hoping things resume sooner than later. And we hope this can all be just a bad dream that we wake up from, and life is normal. I mean, I think that's all our hope. So hopefully that's what happens.
Any message you want to send the Blasko fans and the Ozzy fans? Something you want to say to people listening to this podcast?
Yeah, man. I mean, just know that it's a tough time, but we're all enduring this together, and we all definitely look forward to going back and doing shows and playing for everybody as soon as possible. So let's just all stay positive, and hopefully we see you all soon.
Thank you, Blasko. Thank you for making time to talk to us.
Of course.
We hope everything comes out well on the other side after the virus. So keep rocking, and cheers, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Much obliged, sir. Thank you for spending time, and keep rocking the stage with Lord Osbourne, with the father of metal, Mr. Ozzy Osbourne. Keep rocking, brother. Thank you for spending time with us, Blasko. Don't forget to check out Ozzy's latest album. For those of you who don't have that album, it is called Ordinary Man. It was released sometime this year, 2020. You guys can check it out and support Blasko's projects, his management company, and support anything Blasko, anything Ozzy, and anything metal and anything rock. And don't forget to keep it metal.
That metal interview.